Guten Abend miteinander. Welcome to the Pillow Song Podcast. Mein Name ist Rene und es erwärmt mir das Herz, all die tolle Musik dürfen heute Abend zu präsentieren. Alle Künstler haben Songs von Tracy Chapman extra für diesen Podcast aufgenommen. We have musicians joining us from Stans, Sarnen, Luzern, Bern, New York and Colorado. Everybody has been busy recording these cover songs by Tracy Chapman with whatever equipment they have available at home, just for you, just for this evening's podcast. As Pillow Song, we want to provide a positive and safe environment for musicians to express themselves and to have this genuine exchange with you, the listeners. We are always happy to connect mit unserem Publikum in Stans and with everybody out there who is listening. Heute Abend widmen wir uns der Musik von Tracy Chapman. This is Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman, and I want to welcome our host, Sarah Bowman.
Perhaps there has never been a point in my lifetime when Tracy Chapman's words have spoken as poignantly as they do today. For that reason, I chose to record this song to start the show. This is Why by Tracy Chapman. Why do the babies starve when there's enough food to feed the world? Why, when there's so many of us, are there people still alone? Why are the missiles called peacekeepers when they're aimed to kill? Why is a woman still not safe when she's in her home? Love is hate, war is peace, no is yes, and we're all free. But somebody's gonna have to answer. The time is coming soon. Amidst all these questions and contradictions, there's some who seek the truth. Tell me, why do the babies starve when there's enough food to feed the world? Why, when there's so many of us, are there people still alone? Why are the missiles called peacekeepers when they're aimed to kill? Why is a woman still not safe when she's in her home? Love is hate, war is peace, no is yes, and we're all free. But somebody's gonna have to answer. The time is coming soon when the blind remove their blinders and the speechless speak the truth. Tell me, why do the babies starve when there's enough food to feed the world? Why, when there's so many of us, are there people still alone? Why are the missiles called peacekeepers when they're aimed to kill? Why is a woman still not safe when she's in her home? Love is hate, war is peace, no is yes, and we're all free. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. I am your host, Sarah Bowman. We're broadcasting live from Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, we will hear performances of Tracy Chapman's songs recorded by nearly 20 musicians in their homes as a result of quarantine. We'll be interviewing some of our guests live this evening and discussing the hard-hitting themes addressed in Tracy's powerful songs, many of which are crucial topics of today's world in the pandemic. In or around the year 1988, when perhaps your friend from band camp or a schoolmate from chess club or a fellow writer in an attic bedroom somewhere put on a Tracy Chapman record to share with you,
You listened and were riveted by the strength and the power of that voice and those words. We didn't know if what we heard was a man or a woman, but it didn't matter. In one startling instant, Tracy Chapman compelled us to know more, to do more, and to be more. How could it be that one black woman from the American Midwest, one who was raised on welfare by her single mother, could not only transcend the fate that the back streets of America had in mind for her, but reach as far as to inform the world of what that fate actually was, and which systems were perpetuating the situation? On so many levels, Tracy Chapman wrote and sang the truth. And she doesn't yell and scream about the injustices she found in her neighborhood and in yours, or the corruption she observed in the powers that be, people who cared little for the planet or for other human lives as they stopped at nothing for personal gain. She doesn't choose to lecture us on our bad habits and bad behaviors, and she doesn't aim to embarrass her audience as we emerge gradually from our ignorances. She lulls us to a core place where we can gently access the truth at our own pace with her soothing voice and her unabashed storytelling. Amy Fleming of The Guardian calls her the quiet revolutionary. But how had the constant bullying during the thriving, highly capitalistic era surrounding her growing years failed to diminish her dedication to being her true self? Why hadn't it forced her to be ashamed of the color of her skin, of her bookishness, her womanhood, of her background, her neighborhood, her sexual orientation, and her strong values? Hadn't even her kind classmates unwittingly participated in their own privilege and the resulting struggle it imposed? How is it possible that she rose from a rough neighborhood in Cleveland, Ohio, to become one of the most important songwriters of today? Tracy Chapman tells us that the Better Chance Scholarship at age 16 to a private school far away in Connecticut had something to do with it. As she spoke to The Guardian, she said, "My city had been forced to integrate the schools, so they were busing black children into white neighborhoods and white children into black neighborhoods. And people were upset about it, so there were race riots. A lot of kids spent more time out of school than in, but I always loved school and thought it was my way out of Cleveland and out of poverty." And, as history would have it, Nelson Mandela effectively had played a role in her fate as well. On his 70th birthday in 1988, Tracy Chapman appeared in London as an unknown songwriter armed only with an acoustic guitar, and she shook the Wembley Stadium and its nationally televised audience to silence. Her debut self-titled album, released that year, won her 3 Grammy Awards and was nominated for the Best Album of the Year. She had risen to unsolicited, unexpected fame on both sides of the pond. She had the power as a young woman to prove a habituated industry wrong in its assumptions that she wouldn't sell more than 50,000 copies of any record. She had the strength to notice when she wasn't being treated equally, and the words to articulate inequity on a personal and global level in her songs, words that we needed then and now. The album Tracy Chapman was released on April 15, 1988, and went on to sell 13 million copies. It's ranked number 10 on Rolling Stone's 100 Best Albums of the 80s. She wrote Talking About a Revolution at the age of 19, and don't you think this song speaks to us right now? You'll be hearing a beautiful rendition by Amber Rubarth in New York later this evening, and then you can decide. Tracy's mother, Hazel, raised her 2 daughters alone and did what she could to encourage them. Tracy's scholarship led her to the East Coast and eventually to Tufts University, where, while busking, she befriended the son of Charles Koppelman, a media executive. Although she was quickly signed to Elektra Records, things did not get off to an easy start. A tragic car accident killed the would-be producer of her first album, and a chaotic situation in the studio ensued. The label didn't pay attention when she called to complain of lack of guidance and bad musical results. She threatened to walk away, and finally, the situation was rectified. But I remember this, and I remember it giving her a bad reputation, something entirely unfair, but unfortunately normalized. A young woman who stood up for herself, especially a newcomer in the industry of commercial music, was often criticized for making any trouble. But it didn't appear to faze her. She is strong enough to be who she is. Tracy Chapman used Madonna as an example of sexism in the music industry when she said, "Madonna is to be admired for her longevity in a genre that has mostly been for younger acts. Men are able to sustain a career into their 50s and 60s and still present themselves as sex symbols. With women, on the other hand, people say, why doesn't she retire? It's just so unfair, so I have to give props to Madonna." In interviews, which are scarce, Tracy Chapman is always pressed with questions about her activism, and yes, her involvement with organizations such as Amnesty International and AMFAR is very important. But let's not disregard the impact that her songs themselves have had while fighting the good fight. There are countless droves of songwriters out there promoting peace in a way that, if not for Tracy Chapman's songs, and the protest singer-songwriters that came before her, we might not have had the courage to follow her lead. I started performing her song Crossroads with my twin sister Claire at the age of 14 in the local coffee shop in Davenport, Iowa. I've been working hard ever since to find words half as poetic and powerful as those that she already recorded on her second album, and I will always strive to promote positive social change as a result of knowing that we as individuals have the power to make a difference, however small. Tracy Chapman didn't teach me that, but her songs did. She says of her craft, "Songwriting is a very mysterious process. It feels like creating something from nothing, something I don't feel like I really control." And when she's asked to give advice to the next generation, what she offers is simple. But in a world of social media and influencers, constant bombardment of marketing that tries to tell us who we are and what we want and how we should look, talk, think, and live, this is becoming more and more complicated. Tracy says, if you're living a life that feels right to you, if you're willing to take creative chances or a creative path that feels like it's mostly in keeping with your sensibilities, aesthetic and artistic, then that's what matters. And if in the process of doing that, you don't succeed by someone else's standards, then I don't think you've lost it all, because you still have something that you believe in, something that matters to you. When I was studying music and my twin sister Claire was studying philosophy at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we saw Tracy Chapman perform. I felt so connected to her. I always knew what the next song would be on the program, and much to the dismay of those sitting in front of me, I sang harmony at the top of my lungs from my spot in the balcony. Claire probably did too, but I was so blissfully submerged in my own experience that I didn't notice. And after the concert, Claire and I waited in the rain for what felt like hours, singing her songs one after another until finally Tracy Chapman was escorted out with 2 very large bouncers. We were speechless. She was an arm's length away for a moment, and later on it dawned on me that those bouncers may have been necessary because of our borderline insane insistence on singing for her or meeting her. I had had a whole speech prepared in my head, one that never occurred, but in its place I made a pledge to myself to do my best to follow her footsteps. In real time, though, I remember that all I could say to her in a hushed, breathless voice was, "Tracy Chapman, thank you for all that you do." And my sister and I watched as she got on the bus, and naturally, as it drove away, we sang "She's Got Her Ticket" into the rain. Chapman received an honorary doctorate from St. Xavier University in Chicago and was given an honorary doctorate in fine arts by her alma mater, Tufts University, recognizing her commitment to social activism. Tracy Chapman's songs have made a resurgence, and I don't think it's by accident that it's in this time of such uncertainty and need. Her songs speak strong truths and help us to recognize the power we have to build a brighter future. You are listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. Our featured artist this evening is Ishantu, and here she is performing Fast Car from Tracy Chapman's eponymous debut album.
fast car. I wanna take you to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere, and any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. Yeah, you got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. We won't have the drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs. Find a place what it means to be living. Say my old man's got a problem. He lives with a bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like it. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I could school, that's what I did. And remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. City lights laid out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. Fast car. We go cruising, entertain ourselves. You still ain't got a job. And I work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You find work and I get promoted, and we'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in a suburb. And remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. Said the lights stayed up before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. A fast car, and I got a job that pays all our bills. You're still out drinking late at the bar. See more your friends than you do your kids. I use hope for better, that maybe you and me would find that I ain't got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. So take a first car and keep on driving. And remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. City lights stayed up before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belong. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. Yeah, you got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
A Swiss-born singer-songwriter with a talent for combining soulful earworm pop and atmospheric indie rock, who has been writing since childhood, Ishantu carefully crafted her skills over the years to create touching songs that build a bridge between personal experience and the expression of a collective zeitgeist. She too has an eponymous first album and has just released a new single, Needed You. Ishantu selected Tracy Chapman for tonight's tribute, and we couldn't be happier that she did. There has been an intensity of emotion as these songs have come together. You just heard her version of her idol song, Fast Car. I have Ishantu on the phone for our first interview. Hello, Ishantu. Thank you so much for all the work you put into this tonight.
Hi. It's my absolute pleasure to be part of this.
When you were 16 years old, you went from listening to punk rock to finding Tracy Chapman, or maybe she found you. What was going on in your life that allowed you to see her value, and how has she led you to become the songwriter that you are today?
Yeah, Tracy Chapman found me, by coincidence, and it wasn't expected. And she found me in a time when I was searching for my own journey, when I was far away from home in a foreign country, and when I kind of wanted to explore my own path, apart from my upbringing. And she really was a teacher to me. She told me to be true in what I do, and she opened a path for me that I didn't think was possible, like to pursue the path of a songwriter. Before I just did it as a hobby, and she really inspired me to go for that, because she instantly sparked this hunger in me, to follow my heart with music. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad she did, because what you're producing is really, really beautiful. And I think that choosing her for this program came at the exact right time. Her songs are needed now because they're so direct, so clear, although they deal with tough issues that make many of us too uncomfortable to even talk openly about. Your first song tonight was Fast Car. This might be her most beloved song of all. A young woman full of hope for a better future with a partner who disappoints by repeating the same fate as they would have had they stayed. So what's the significance of this story to you? Why do you think so many can relate to it?
I think it speaks to us because it shows, that we have been brought in certain conditions that maybe are not supporting our true nature that much. When it comes to pursuing our dreams, we seem to have a lot of rules, and yet it gives us kind of a hope that we should still pursue what we feel is true and what we feel is right, despite of the place we're born in or how we've been brought up. It shows the harshness of reality as it can be for people who want to follow their own path, but it also shows that there is hope to actually do it, and it gives me always inspiration, to open my mind up to possibilities.
You're listening to Ishantu, and she is our guest artist in tonight's program, Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. Thank you so much for your thoughts, Ishantu. It's beautiful to talk to you so early in the program. I'm going to be back talking with Ishantu in a moment, and now here is her song, Ghost in the Kitchen.
Nothing is promised. How long is now? Tomorrows they coming. They either coming or they won't. You love me like fire. In a moment in time, it's a fluid desire. You can't be mine. I ain't water falling. I ain't burning like the sun. I'm a human still, and I only got tears to fall. force of the dawn. I flow and I rise on a silver star ground. I'm a tide that turns around, for against you. You can have me like you want it. I'm lying here on the floor. I got everywhere to go. In the shadows of a long dusty road. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting to be gone. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting for the dawn. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting for the dawn. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting to be gone. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting for the dawn. I'm a ghost in the kitchen, waiting to be gone. I'm a ghost in the kitchen,
That was Ishantu singing her song Ghost in the Kitchen, and we've just been chatting on the phone, so I've just learned that even though she wrote that song not quite a year ago, it didn't really mean to her then what it means to her now, and so she's putting that out there for the first time, so you are lucky you got to hear that. You're the first ones to hear that song. Change. There's been a powerful quote circulating around the socials by Michi Rene Taylor. She says, "We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was never normal other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We're being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and nature." The next song we will hear from Ishantu is the song Change by Tracy Chapman, where she poses these questions. How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change. I ask this every day during the global pandemic, as we're so eager to get back to the way things were. I wonder if it takes an asteroid then, if not a pandemic, to push us to break habits we call needs, change behaviors and choices that negatively impact others. Now we see it. The truth is not hidden from us. Al Gore calls it the inconvenient truth for a reason. It's uncomfortable, but these changes, they need to start with each of us. We should be asking ourselves, what more can I do today? And then ask again tomorrow. Here is Ishantu performing Change by Tracy Chapman.
died today, and you saw the face of God and love, tell me, would you change? Tell me, would you change? If you knew the love can break your heart, when you're down so low you cannot fall, tell me, would you change? Tell me, would you change? And how bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect? Can make it turn around, make you try to explain, make you forgive and forget, can make you change. If you knew that you would be alone, knowing right, being wrong, would you change? Would you change? If you knew that you would find the truth that brings the pain that can be soothed, would you change? Would you change? How bad, how good does it need to get? How many losses, how much regret? What chain reaction would cause an effect that makes you turn around, makes you try to explain, makes you forgive and forget, makes you change. So change. Are you so bright you can be bent if it comes to blast? Are you so sure you won't be crawling if it's not for the good? Why risk falling? Why risk falling? If everything you do, you think you know, can make your life unbearable, tell me, would you change? Tell me, would you change? If you've broken every rule and vow, and hard times come to bring you down, tell me, would you change? Yeah, tell me, would you change?
You're listening to the work of Ishantu, covering her idol Tracy Chapman. I'm chatting with Ishantu tonight, as she is our featured artist on the program. And I want to thank our guest who chatted her information in the chat, including her website. So you can find that there. I'll be putting it in a little bit later. According to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, teen birth rates are higher among Hispanic and Black adolescents than among their white counterparts. Here's a verse from the song All That You Have Is Your Soul by Tracy Chapman. She sings, "Why was I such a young fool? Thought I'd make history. Making babies was the best I could do. I thought I'd make something that could be mine forever. And I found out the hard way, one can't possess another. All that you have is your soul." Ishantu, thank you for choosing this powerfully touching song. What might you be able to say tonight to our listeners to possibly prevent just one young woman out there from following in the footsteps of the main character in this song? Or in other words, what gives you the strength and courage to pursue personal fulfillment?
Yeah, it's really Tracy Chapman, in her message in this song, but in general, when I met her, she empowered me, to explore my talents and to be myself. And she showed me that a woman can be so many things. It's a creative being, and it's a powerful force. And when women decide that they want to be mothers, and that's a great thing, and then still there is so much more that women can achieve and become, even at the same time, like being a mother. So it's such a beautiful thing, and at the same time, this choice has to be made very consciously for women, because first they have to realize that they do have a choice. And when they do make the choice of being a mother consciously, while still pursuing their own, dreams, then that's a good balance there. And this choice every woman should have. And this should also be taught from women to women, that's really important for them to be empowered first. Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like a feminist. Which isn't a bad word. I remember in the 90s, it was kind of like, to say you were a feminist, all we're saying is we just want equal rights for women, right? What's so pushy about that?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's the message that's there above all the messages,
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, that's the message from the song. And I think it's absolutely important to keep that in mind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. Now you'll hear Ishantu performing her own unpublished song, Waiting for Sugar. And she just told me on the phone that the song taps into the idea that when you have suffered, it's not just to release pain, that's not the end result, but to transform it. And perhaps that means to surrender. This song, Waiting for Sugar, will be followed by her version of Tracy Chapman, All That You Have Is Your Soul. Ishantu's music can be found at ishantu.com. Thank you so much, Ishantu. It was really nice talking to you tonight.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
We'll see you again soon.
All right. I'm going to look forward to the other artists a lot now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Trees down in our garden, and on the ferry boat riding out, saying goodbye to the world. And I swear on the freestyle on the broke my time, keep on waiting. Never loved, it was never love. You're the one I love, you're the one I cry for, you're the one to hold me. My world was caving in, you're the one I live, falling I die with. They say time is only in your mind, but I've been drinking again. Yeah, without knowing knowing what's the best for you. We clearly made mistakes. And honey, I've been missing you for so long. 'Cause you're the one I love, you're the one I cry for, the one that hold me when my world was caving in. You're the one I fall, I live and I die with, the one that begged me and I'm dancing in the dark. Why are you waiting for sugar? You're waiting for more than tonight. Cut the trees down in your garden. And all the demons that you traded for the fairyland brides. Birds singing on the window, she was all false, and I'm waiting. How the hell do you tell someone you love it's time to go? Honey, you're the one I love, you're the one I cry for. 'Cause you were the one that begged me for nothing at all. And honey, you're the one I fall, live and I die with. 'Cause you were the one that hold me when my world was caving in. And I am dancing in the dark. You're waiting for sugar. And I so my mama told me Cause she said you learn the hard way. Says she wanna spare the children. She said don't give us your soul away, cause all that you have is your soul. Don't be tempted by the shiny apple, and don't you eat of the better fruit. If hunger only for a taste of justice, it's hunger only for a word or two. Cause all that you have is your soul. And I was a pretty young girl once, and I had dreams, I had high hopes. I married the man, he stole my heart away. He gave his love, but what a high price I paid. And all that you have is your soul. And don't be tempted by the shiny apple, and don't you eat of the better fruit. If hunger only for a taste of justice, it's hunger only for a word or two. Cause all that you have is your soul. why was I such a young fool? Thought I'd make history, making babies was the best I could do. Thought I'd make something that could be mine forever. I found the hard way, once can't possess another. And all that you have is your soul. But don't be tempted by the shiny apple, and don't you eat of bitter fruit. If hunger only for a taste of justice, it's hunger only for a word of truth. 'Cause all that you have is your soul. And I thought that I could find a way to beat the system, make a deal and have no debts to pay. I take it all, I'd run away. Me for myself, first class and first rate. And all that you have is your soul. But don't be tempted by the shiny apple, and don't you eat of the bitter fruit. Hunger only for a taste of justice, it's hunger only for a word of truth. 'Cause all that you have is your soul. Here I am, waiting for a better day, a second chance, a little luck to come my way. I hope the dream, I hope that I can sleep again, and wake in a world with clear conscience and clean hands. Is all that you have is your soul. Don't be tempted by the shiny apple, and don't you eat of the bitter fruit. If hunger only for a taste of justice, it's hunger only for a word of truth. 'Cause all that you have is your soul. Oh, my mama told me, 'cause she said you learn the hard way. Said she wanna spare the children. Said don't give or sell your soul away, 'cause all that you have is your soul. All that you have.
This is an era of heightened emotions, leading us, if we let it, to a greater capacity for connection and a weakening of the barriers that never really existed between us. The thing is, it was almost too much to prepare tonight's podcast, to be honest. Hearing these songs sung anew, one after the other, it brought forth so many discussions, ponderance. More often than not, the songs you will hear tonight provide a frame from which we can start to digest the things that are bothering us. My co-host for this songbook session is someone I often delve into difficult topics with. Maybe it's the nature of long car rides to gigs or endless rehearsals perfecting just that one line or that one new song. But we often start discussing our otherwise unspoken fears. What does it mean that the temperatures are rising? What will become of a world of people who are addicted to information yet incapable of prolonged eye contact? How will our young children cope with diminishing resources? Christian Winiker became interested in music when he was a child, perusing his father's album collection with classics like Pink Floyd, Miles Davis, Led Zeppelin, and the Beatles, reprogramming his young mind. It didn't occur to him that he could participate as an instrumentalist until later. Despite having piano lessons from a young age, Christian was a bad student. Maybe, knowing him, he had attention span issues. But when he formed a band and became a guitar player by default because he'd taught himself a few chords, new possibilities arose. He created new music with the band and participated in a battle of the bands at the age of 19. When they won that night, and when he met prominent musicians in the local music scene here in Luzern, a whole world of possibility opened up for Christian. He's now known as a bit of a legend in our circle. He's played guitar in several great bands and on countless albums. And yes, you guessed it, he's the newest member of the Bowmans, and he performs on our upcoming release, Scrutiny. As luck would have it, for me, Christian's band was nearly on the outs when they came to the Pillow Song open mic at the Gaslager in Stans not even 2 years ago. I know a good thing when I see it, so I made sure to talk to him and eventually introduce him to the idea of this great little thing we had going on called West Village Wednesdays. He obliged, and we are ever so grateful for his contributions ever since. Christian was not able to join us last month for the Tom York Portrait podcast because he had just become a father a couple weeks early during quarantine. We have Christian with us right now. Welcome, Christian. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hello, Rene. Hello.
Hello, Christian.
Nice to be a part of it.
You're always a part of it.
Yeah, I know. I was the last time and then now.
Yeah.
But now I'm on the phone.
Yeah, well, that's what we can do. And so we just recorded together, kind of. Thanks for being the one-man band that this song needs. Tracy Chapman starts the song with the line, "The whole world is broke, and it ain't worth fixing." This is about the song New Beginning that we recorded. Do you think she really means to give up and walk away, or what do you think that's about?
I don't think she's talking about walking away or giving up in this case. I guess it's like, it refers to the title of the song. For me, sometimes songs are like a theater piece or something like that, and for me the line is like an introduction or something like that, and she talks about the state we're in, and maybe she opens up the question like, do we want to live in a world like this? And that I think later on the song you hear that line, you have to start over all over again, so it's like a new beginning. You have to do a new beginning. Or maybe it's like when you're in a relationship that is like not good and you're not feeling right. Sometimes you have to do a restart and don't put energy in and try to fix it. You have to restart completely. And I think that's what she wants to tell us. Or that's my interpretation of the whole thing.
Just start again. We don't make little fixes. Little fixes aren't going to get us very far.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Yeah.
And try to I don't know, to replace carbon, fossil fuels or something else that's even more worse. I don't know. It's like you have to rethink the whole thing, yeah.
Well, I think it's really important that we talk about these things today as we see the effects that staying at home has had, for example. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. This is the songbook session where we will hear various artists covering their favorite Tracy Chapman songs. Guests tonight have spent the last few days recording these songs with whatever was available to them at home during quarantine, and the results are pretty amazing. Feel free to sing along. And as always, you can show your support and enthusiasm by giving the performances a thumbs up and commenting in the chat. For once, chatting doesn't interrupt the performance. Thanks for listening. Here is the song New Beginning by Tracy Chapman, featuring your hosts Christian Winiker, who I have on the phone, and myself, Sarah Bowman, along with a choir of voices from the upcoming guests on tonight's program.
start all over, make a new beginning. There's too much pain, too much suffering. Let's resolve to start all over, make a new beginning.
Don't get me wrong, I love life and living. But when you wake up and look around at everything that's going down, all wrong. You see, we need to change it now. This world with too few happy endings. We can resolve to start all over and make a new beginning. Start all over. Start all over. Start all over. Start all over.
The world is broken into fragments and pieces that once were joined together in a unified whole.
But now to man is stand alone. There's too much separation. We can resolve to come together in a new beginning. Start all over.
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 Start all over. We can break the cycle.
We can break the cycle.
We can break the chain. We can start all over.
We can start all over.
In the new beginning.
We can learn, you can teach, we can share the myths, the dreams, the prayer,
The notion that we can do better. Change our lives and paths. Create a new world.
Start all over. Start all over. Start all over. Start all over.
The whole world's broken, it ain't worth fixing. It's time to start all over, make a new beginning. There's too much fighting, too little understanding. It's time to start all over, make a new beginning.
Start all over. Start all over. Start all over. Start all over.
We need to make new symbols, make a new sign, make a new language. With these will we define the world.
Start all over. And start all over.
You're listening to the Pillow Song Podcast. You heard our cover of New Beginning, originally from Tracy Chapman's album of the same name, released in 1995 and produced by Tracy Chapman along with Don Gaiman. In our normal lives, the folks you hear tonight in these recordings would be gathering together on a stage and collaborating either backstage just prior to the show or rehearsing in each other's living rooms. Most of the time, Christian and I sit at the edge of the stage and ask, "What key is it in?" And we would just join in the song without much planning. So I tried to emulate some of that action tonight, and just yesterday, without much discussion or even permission, I laid down some of those cello and vocal sounds on the tracks that the guests have sent to me. I hope that this brings the program closer to home for those of you who are used to being there, who miss it like we do. And yeah, artists, you can yell at me in the chat if I ruined your songs. Up next is a track from the same album, New Beginning, and this is called At This Point in My Life, performed by Mala Gassman. Mala is a Swiss songwriter and folkie who frequents the Gaslager with her lovely voice and guitar, and occasionally her fiddle too. Mala has attended the Folk Alliance International Conference in the States a few times, and we've ended up with many common friends as a result. Thanks for being a part of this great community, Mala. I've done so many things wrong, I don't know if I can do right, Tracy proclaims. But then, with a newfound sense of courage and self-worth, she goes on, "At this point in my life, I'd like to live as if only love mattered, as if redemption was in sight, as if the search to live honestly is all that anyone needs, no matter if you find it." Here is Mala Gassman's cover of the Tracy Chapman song, At This Point in My Life.
Done so many things wrong, I don't know if I can do right. I've done so many things wrong, I don't know if I can do right. At this point in my life, I've done so many things wrong, don't know if I can do right. If you put your trust in me, hope I won't let you down. If you give me a chance, I'll try. You see, it's been a hard road, the road I'm traveling on. If I take your hand, might lead you down the path through. I've had a hard ride, just things to understand. But right now, I'm doing the best I can at this point in my life. At this point in my life, though I've mostly walked in the shadows, I'm still searching for the light. I want you to put your faith in me. We both know that's what matters. If you give me a chance, I'll try. You see, I've been climbing stairs, but mostly stumbling out. I've been reaching high, and always like to live as if only love mattered. As if redemption was in sight. As if the search to live honestly is all that anyone needs. No matter if you find it. You see, when I've touched the sky, the earth gravity's pulled me down. But now that I've reconciled that in this world, birds and angels gather wings to fly. If you believe in this heart of mine, oh, if you can give it a try, then I reach inside, find you all the sweetness that I had. Oh, this point in my life. At this point in my life.
You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. Christoph Trümmer is our next guest, and he certainly is unique in many ways. Chris lives in a communal style, co-housing with several other housemates. His living project has been in the eye of the media, as they consider this a precedent for the future. Trümmer is a Swiss singer-songwriter that I had the pleasure of meeting at the Sidewalk Cafe in New York City on open mic night about 15 years ago. Chris was singing songs in English that had peers guessing he was Irish or from another native English-speaking part of the world. He's always had great insight and intuition, and it is apparent in his songs. He was orphaned at a relatively young age and has been working hard in the music community, perhaps to some extent in the footsteps of his late father, who organized a renowned music festival near Chris's hometown in the Bernese Oberland. Chris's life work extends beyond songwriting and performing, although he is always active, and like so many independent artists, he has had to cancel his entire current tour due to the coronavirus. Chris also works for Sonart, formerly Musikschaffende Schweiz, the Swiss Music Association, where he advocates for independent musicians' rights on a national level. Chris is joining us right now from his home tonight. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure,
tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Because I've known you for so long, I feel like I can ask you a really heady question.
Okay.
Let me give some background first. Telling Stories is her 5th album, released in the year 2000. Chris chose to do the title track in a very intimate way. You know, Chris, it took my whole life until now to realize my own failings as a singer-songwriter. There was an element of self-indulgence, a personal catharsis, I think. And Tracy Chapman writes her songs from a genuine place of truthfulness and can remove herself to let the songs speak for themselves. That's her gift. I feel the same way about your recording for tonight of the song Telling Stories. I think the late John Prine said, just because it never happened doesn't mean it's not true. And in her song, Tracy Chapman is referring to someone capturing their own memories and saying, write it down, but it doesn't mean you're not just telling stories. So, finally, I have 2 questions, really. First, what meaning do you think our daily existence has, if in the end it amounts to a partially fictional version of the original experience? And, as a songwriter, what connection do you feel to Tracy as a non-prophetic conveyor of peace and truth?
It really is a big question.
I know.
The funny thing is, I just saw a video, like an interview with James Taylor, of all people, a couple of days ago, where he said really the only word that stands for itself is the word and every other word actually stands for something else. And I thought that was a really interesting way to look at it. And I think that's why life and telling a story about your life, really maybe that's the only way to really grasp life. At least it is to me. I feel like writing songs and listening to other people's songs and reading books and watching movies, all these stories that I confront myself with, that they really are my way of understanding life, putting words to it. When as soon as I can talk about it or sing about it, I'm starting to grasp it at least partially, at least a little bit.
Yeah, and do you feel the same as you communicate these stories in English as you do in your native Swiss German?
There's a level of subtext that I think that I never really had in the same way in English, because just the way which word you choose. Do you choose fool or do you choose idiot, for example? That makes a huge difference, and I think that all the subtext in the choice of words is really much easier to get when you're talking your own and singing in your own native language. So I don't think I ever really got there in English, but
I would disagree. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits. I'm on the phone with Christoph Trümmer, and here is his version of Telling Stories by Tracy Chapman.
There is fiction in the space between the lines on your page of memories. Write it down, but it doesn't mean you're not just telling stories. There is fiction in the space between you and reality. You would do and say anything to make your everyday life seem less mundane. There is fiction in the space between you and me, you and me. There's science fiction in the space between you and me, a fabrication, a grand scheme. I am a scary monster. I need to say it as I leave the scene. In my spaceship, I am laughing. Your remembrance of a bad dream. There's no one but you standing. Feel the pity and the pain for the ones who do not speak. Back to words you get respect and compassion, and for posterity spread the words and make believe there's truth in the space between. There is fiction in the space between you and everybody. Give us all what we need. Give us one more sad, sordid story in the fiction of the space between. Sometimes a lie is the best thing. Sometimes a lie is the best thing. Sometimes a lie is the best thing.
You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. That was Christoph Trümmer with a wonderful, beautiful version of Telling Stories. Chris, it was great to have you on the phone. Sorry I forgot to say good night. Good night. You can find Chris's music at trümmeronline.ch. I'm going to put that right now into the chat, and you will see that shortly. Our next guest is part of our Portraits team. She was featured for our tribute to Prince, which incidentally was the last live performance at the Gaslager before we had to close down due to the pandemic. Val is originally from central Switzerland, but did spend time studying in Massachusetts, not far from where Tracy Chapman studied at Tufts University. Not at the same time, though. But knowing Val, I think the two would have been fast friends, and although neither are all that talkative on stage, I bet these two women would figure out the whole world in one long night. Val chose to perform Tracy's biggest hit of her career on a broken guitar that she can't even sell. Val's artist name is Pink Spider, and here is her version of Give Me One Reason to Stay Here, from her living room to yours.
Stay here, and I'll turn right back around, Just give me a reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. I don't wanna leave you lonely. You gotta make me change. Your number, well, I know you've got mine. You know that I've called you many times. You can call me, baby, call me anytime, but you gotta call me. Just give me a reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Just give me a reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Don't wanna leave you lonely, but you've gotta make me change. Squeeze me, might take away my life. Don't want nobody to squeeze me, might take away my life. I just want somebody to hold me and rock me through the night. This youthful heart can love you and give you what you need. I said this youthful heart can love you and give you what you need. But I'm too old to go chasing you around, wasting precious energy. Stay here, I'll turn right back around. Just give me a reason to stay here, I'll turn right back around. I don't want to leave you lonely, you gotta make me change.
to say.
That was Pink Spider performing Give Me One Reason. Val's music can be found at pinkspider.ch. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. Please help us keep programming like this free and available. Your donations are appreciated. You can go to pillowsong.com or click the link in this live stream's details. Amber Rubarth was here in Switzerland to portray Stevie Wonder at the start of this year's season in November. It was the first event after the Gaslager underwent a major renovation supported by the members and community of the concert venue. Like so many events there, it was an extraordinarily emotional evening. Amber Rubarth is considered a Nashville songwriter who's recently relocated to the Woodstock-Kingston area in New York. She's a winner of the NPR Mountain Stage New Song Contest, has performed more than once for TED Talks, and has received over 1 million plays for her cover version of Losing My Religion by R.E.M. Let's hope her cover of Talking About a Revolution gets the same results after tonight. Amber recorded in her home with some difficulty, but the results are beautiful. We will be talking to Amber after you hear her version. Here is Talking About a Revolution by Tracy Chapman, performed by Amber Rubarth.
1, 2, 3. Ooh. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Poor people gonna rise up and get what's theirs. Poor people gonna rise up and take their share. You know you better run, 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 run. That city better run, 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 run. Finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Oh, well, they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. You know you better run, 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 run. A city better run, 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 run. Finally, the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Finally, the tables are starting to turn. Talking about a revolution. Talking about a revolution. Talking about a revolution. Oh, oh,
Hi, Amber.
Hi, how are you, Sarah?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being on our program tonight and for spending some time making such a beautiful version of the song talking about a revolution.
Oh, absolutely an honor. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I wish we could have you in person like we did last time.
This is good.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question to you. What was it like to sing the lines, "Finally the tables are starting to turn," while undergoing probably the hardest time Americans have seen in our lifetime? Do you think that there'll be a revolution once health has been restored to the American public? And what do you think the period of recovery will be like?
Beautiful question. Those ones really stuck out to me, and I feel like right now one of the things that has been on my mind, especially while recording and digging into this song, is that there's so many perspectives that people are coming from right now, and it's really there's so many different sides of how everybody is reading the situation, and it's amplifying what their sides are, you know, and there's certain people that feel like, you know, like New York City, for instance, which I live right above. I'm about 90 miles north of right now. You know, there's people that are paying extravagant rent prices and have been, and now everything is shut down. So it's like the people who maybe were living on a really a level that they felt like they were on top of everything. With the situation right now, it's like on the bottom of everything, and other people that are I don't know, it's really awakened me to how many perspectives there are in the world, and how the tables are turning. Is just like nature is doing a thing right now, and the world is doing a thing right now that really aligns things in a different way. And you know, revolution, it comes from that, like revolving, like something is completely turning. And it reminds me of the Dylan song of like, oh gosh, I'm blanking on it now. The times are changing.
Yes,
you know, it's like everything that was one way, it's the flip side of it. And I think that with this going on with the virus and with everything stopping, there's really that happening. Like the revolution is that everything is turning upside down in a certain sense, and it just makes anything that we thought we were sure of before totally different. We're seeing the other side of it. Yeah,
people are asking some pretty important questions now, I think.
Yeah, it's revealing a lot in the system, I think. You know, it's revealing vulnerabilities in our system. It's revealing things that maybe weren't sustainable before. Yeah. And I think it's, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like where I'm standing, there's a sense of needing to figure out, okay, how can I be more in line with my own world and my own existence? So how can I be more self-sustainable? How can I be more involved with community? And how can I start to do things that are going to like create a fabric that holds against all of these things that are happening right now? And I think a lot of people are doing that. It's awakening a lot of people to what do we need to do that actually has strength that's outside of the things that can change all the time.
Right. So you don't think everybody is just running to the store to buy things they don't need?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many different perspectives that everyone has. Certain people are doing that in this little pocket in the Hudson Valley. I think that there's a lot more people that are turning to the land and saying, okay, how can we be in better relation with the land? How can we be in better relation with each other? Mm-hmm. And that's really fascinating to me. And even how Tracy Chapman uses the words that talking about a revolution sounds like a whisper. It feels like such a feminine nature way of revolution. Like when we think of the word revolution, it often is this like angry fighting kind of thing. And I love that about this song, that she's like, there's a softness to it, and there's a whisper to it,
but still a sense of urgency.
It's a sense of urgency, but there's like it feels like the feminine or the nature side of it, the softer side of it to me, mm-hmm. Which is kind of what my feeling on this whole time has been, that it's not like in Nashville a bit ago, there was a tornado that swept through, and it just messed everything up, and right. Overnight everything was different. And with this, it feels like it's like a wave, like a slow wave of something, and it's giving us just enough time to really prepare in a certain way, or to look at it in a certain way. Not everybody, unfortunately, but it is somewhat of a slow, kind of whispery awakening. Yeah. That we have to say, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to react to this? But it's giving us a little bit of time.
Well, that's great, Amber. I think I really hope that those who are listening can relate. I think that you can. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and sharing your beautiful music with us tonight.
Thank you so much for including me on this.
Anytime. You can find Amber's music at amberrubarth.com. Next up is local songwriter Michi Abt with his new solo project Lilo. Michi recorded a beautifully meditative version of Another Sun from the 2002 release Let It Rain. This is Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. We have music from Shirley Grimes, the Bowmans, Veronica Stalder, and more coming up. This is Lilo with Tracy Chapman's song Another Sun.
Trouble won't find me, sorrow won't call, sadness will turn away, searching for a new soul. Hardship won't come by, all pain will cease. Somebody will take my place and suffer for me. If I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, another sun, another sun. If no love will comfort me, if no kind words come to offer hope or peace when I have fallen, if I be a stranger, friend of no one, I'll gladly take my place in the world beyond. If I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, another sun, another sun. If I lay down and wake to see the bright light of the moon rise up every day to blind beat and burn, show me no mercy for need or war. Let somebody take my place when the new day dawns. If I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, if I never see another sun, another sun, another sun.
Christian is back with us again. Earlier in our conversation, we skipped over possibly the most touching moment of quarantine in our little Pillow Song community. Christian Winiker's baby boy was born 2 weeks early, making him just 1 month old now. Mother and baby are doing fine. Christian, how's fatherhood? How's it changed your priorities while thinking towards the future?
Okay. Hello again. It's like becoming a father is like a new beginning, I guess. Like in the song. And I realized that I can't do everything in the life, so the possibilities are getting kind of smaller. But the cool thing about it is you can decide what's really important for you. And for me now, it's of course the kid and my girlfriend and myself too. And I try to keep it in a good balance and try to keep it up with the music and do my daily practice and things like that.
Is there anything that you found that you discovered is not as important as you used to think it was?
Yeah, there was this running around thing and fear of missing opportunities. Like, I have to play more gigs or I have to become famous or whatever.
Yeah.
But that stopped a few years ago. Either way, so getting more relaxed with that. Or I don't have to do all the gigs, and sometimes I don't like to rehearse too. So I like to stay at home and reading a good book, or try to live a healthier life. That's also a thing that is becoming more important in my life.
Yeah, and in some ways, I remember when I was a new mother that it kind of felt like this time feels now. It's a different kind of quarantine, but the similarity is that you're really just focused on what really matters, and really there's no capacity for much else. It's really a beautiful time. Well, thank you, Christian. Thanks for everything you do to contribute to Pillow Song Portraits. I look forward to when we're back on stage again.
Yeah, looking forward too.
Yeah.
And thank you for your trust and for your contribution and for your record, for the Bowman's record that's on the best way to be released. So I'm glad.
Yeah, we don't know when yet, but we'll talk about that a bit more next month. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
You all folks in real life. I'm really looking forward, and stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Listeners, thanks for joining us. Please help us keep programming like this free and available. Your donations are appreciated. You can go to pillowsong.com or click the tip jar link in this live stream's details, paypal.me/pillowsong. We are your hosts, Sarah Bowman and Christian Winiker. This is Mountains of Things by Tracy Chapman, performed by the great Shirley Grimes and Wolfgang Zwiauer.
The life I always wanted, I guess I'll never have. I'll be working for somebody else until I'm in my grave. I'll be dreaming of a life of ease and mountains, oh, mountains of things. To have a big expensive car, drag my furs on the ground, and have a maid that I can tell to bring me anything. Everyone will look at me with envy and with greed, and I'll revel in their attention. And mountains, oh, mountains of things. Sweet lazy life, champagne and caviar. I hope you'll find me, 'cause you know who we are. Those who deserve the best in life and know what money's worth, and those whose soul misfortunes are the mountains of nothing ever. Oh, they tell me there's still time to save my soul. They tell me renounce all the material things you gain by exploiting other human beings. Consume more than you need. This is the dream. Make you pauper, make you queen. I won't die lonely, I'll have it all prearranged. A grave that's deep and wide enough for me and all my mountains of things. Oh, they tell me there's still time to save my soul. They tell me renounce all the material things you gain by exploiting other human beings. Mostly I feel lonely. Good people are only my stepping stone. It's gonna take my mountains of things to surround me and keep all my enemies away. Keep my sadness and loneliness at bay. Life I always wanted, I guess I'll never have. I'll be working for somebody else until I'm in my grave. I'll be dreaming of a life of ease and mountains, oh, mountains of things. I'll be dreaming, 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 dreaming. I'll be dreaming, 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 dreaming.
You heard Mountains of Things, covered by Shirley Grimes and Wolfgang Zwiauer. Shirley Ann Grimes came to Switzerland from a small town in the southwest of her native Ireland. When I first traveled to Switzerland, she was the one I had to meet. Everyone told me so. And so we met, and I have admired her work, her family, and her glowing personality ever since. She lives in a special community of artists and musicians in Bern, our capital city. In some ways, Shirley has had a similar purpose with her career as Tracy Chapman has with hers. Shirley explains that her music forces her to go out on a limb, to show herself in a way that makes her very vulnerable to criticism. Her 2017 project One River Voices was a personal response to the Syrian refugee crisis. Shirley brought together musicians from various cultures and religious backgrounds to sing together to promote peace. She has just been named one of the 2 winners of the Birki Fellert Foundation's 2020 Prize for Culture, in part because of the powerful impact her songs have had on local and international communities. Shirley has been a part of our Pillow Song journey from the old days at the Pillow Song Loft. I've recently had the pleasure of working with her husband, multi-instrumentalist and mad professor Wolfgang Zwiauer. You heard his contribution on this lovely recording of Tracy Chapman's song, Mountains of Things. I have some questions for Shirley, who is always insightful and wonderful to talk to. Hi, Shirley.
Hey, Sarah.
I'm so
How you doing?
excited. Yeah, I'm good. Glad to have you on the phone.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to share the stage with you again, in a way.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. I think it's been since the Knits project.
That was it. I recently saw some photos of us there. It was nice. Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do that again. Let's talk to Hank.
Yeah.
So for tonight, you selected Mountains of Things by Tracy Chapman. That's a song where she doesn't really hold back her criticism of materialism and consumerism. She has, in these lines, consume more than you need. This is the dream. Make you pauper or make you queen. I won't die lonely. I'll have it all prearranged. A grave that's deep and wide enough for me and all my mountains of things. So...
That's
sure,
some verse, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the lyrics that are going to fly through this program tonight are all pretty hard-hitting.
Yeah, she doesn't mince her words.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And you don't live in excess. You care deeply for the environment. Now that we see an opportunity to create a new normal, what advice might you share to help awaken people? To help them not revert to old habits of hoarding or mass consumption or even greed?
God, I don't know if I can give anyone advice. I know myself that I'm a creature of habit, and I revert to saved if I'm not mindful and awake, So I don't know what's really going to happen when things go back to normal, or when a new normal really arrives. But I presume I'm not the only one that works that way, so maybe someone will find something in what I have to say. I can only talk about myself.
Yeah, well,
and I know that I can identify when I've crossed the line between necessity and consumption. Over the years, you develop your kind of inner compass for that. You get this feeling, no, I don't really need this. This is just too much, which doesn't mean I don't do it. That I don't cross that line quite regularly, really, to be honest. But I do think it's very personal. The line is very personal, and it's different for everyone. And I only really cross it if I feel that something is lacking in my life, or if I feel I need to avert from looking at some gaping hole in the background, and as long as I'm doing what fulfills me, or what I would consider to be my purpose in life, then my needs are very, very small. Then I need very, very little.
Right, and you sort of suppress that urge to fill a void with meaningless things.
Well, it's not even there. It's not even there. If I'm doing what I think I'm here to do, and what fulfills me, then the needs just aren't there.
Yeah.
And I think we don't have to be more conscious or restrictive about what we consume, but we have to become more aware of what fulfills us.
Oh, yeah.
Because fulfillment is, it's a big word. It doesn't mean a constant state of happiness, and it doesn't mean that everything is hunky-dory. It just means that the ups and downs make sense, and that they're taking you where you need to go. So I suppose if I had a word of advice, it would be do what fulfills you, and everything else tends to fall into place, and then we don't need more than we actually need, and then we don't need to consume more than we actually need, and then there's enough to go around.
Well, I think that's excellent and sound advice. Thank you so much, Shirley. I appreciate your call.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. This is part of a weekly series of podcasts occurring on Wednesdays. You can find Shirley's music at www.shirleygrimes.com, and I just dropped that into the chat as well. Up next is the first song my sister and I ever performed live that wasn't our own or wasn't an Indigo Girls track. Because of that, it was a genuine struggle to play the guitar. I was strumming like a 14-year-old again with so much vigor and nervousness that I gave up. I tried to replace it with several rhythmic cello parts, but probably for the same reason it ended up sounding like a middle school orchestra. I should know, I used to conduct one in Baltimore, and they could play better than what I achieved over the last few days. So I gave up again. But the integrity of the song has kept me from sparing you, and when I received Claire's beautiful vocal track from Colorado, I knew I had to bring it to the finish line. The song Crossroads means perhaps too much to us to pull off a perfect performance. You see, a long time ago, I found that one song can make the difference between going through life as a victim to identifying as a survivor. Everyone I know is a survivor of something, and many of us have been or felt owned in one way or another, to recognize when we are submitting and to set ourselves free. Tracy Chapman has armed us with lines like this. I'm trying to protect what I keep inside, all the reasons why I live my life. And I say, all you demons, go back to hell. I'll save my soul, save myself. So I'm just doing my best with two small kids at home during a global pandemic that's triggering every bit of loss and trauma that still sits under my skin. And I know, because some of you have told me, that I'm not the only artist who struggled with these emotions while preparing the songs for this podcast tonight. It has been a climb. Please stay tuned for more great music from Célia von Matt, Mathias Jurt, Alex Carl, and Aron Ullrich. Thank you for listening. Next month is a portrait of the Indigo Girls with the Bowmans as the featured guests. You're listening to Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. This is Crossroads, performed by the Bowmans. 1, 2, 3.
All you folks think you own my life, but you never made any sacrifice. Demons, they are on my trail. I'm standing at the crossroads of hell. I look to the left, I look to the right. There are hands that grab me on every side. think I got my price, at which I'll sell all that is mine. You think money rules when all else fails? Go sell your soul and keep your shell. I'm trying to protect what I keep inside, all the reasons why I live my life. Some say the devil be a mystical thing. I say the devil, he a walking man. He's a fool, he's a liar, a conjurer and a thief. He'll try to tell you what you want, try to tell you what you need. Standing at the point that road across you down, what is at your back? Which way do you turn? Who will come and find you first? Your devils or your gods? All you folks think you run my life. You say I should be willing to compromise. I say all you demons go back to hell. I'll save my soul, save myself. I'll save my soul, save myself. Save my soul, save myself. Save my soul, save myself.
That was Crossroads, the title track from Tracy Chapman's second album. The Bowman's music can be found at thebowmansmusic.com. Now, please let me present to you a beautiful, soothing, fluid, captivating performance of Baby Can I Hold You from Veronika Stalder. And Veronika, I admit I added some lines without you knowing. Couldn't help myself. Veronika and I will be speaking just after her performance, identical twin to identical twin. Here is Baby Can I Hold You, performed by Veronika Stalder.
I'm sorry is all that you can say. Years gone by and still words don't come easily. Like I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Forgive me is all that I can say. Years gone by and still words don't come easily. Like forgive me, forgive me. And you can say, baby, baby, can I hold you tonight? be mine. I love you is all that we can say. Years gone by and still words don't come easily. Like I love you, I love you. And you can say, baby, baby, can I hold you tonight? Maybe if I told you the right words at the right time, I can say, baby, baby, can I hold you tonight? Maybe if I told you the right words at the right time, you could be mine. I could be yours. You could be mine. Sorry, forgive me. I love you. I thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. I love you. I love you. I thank you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. I thank you.
Internationally acclaimed Swiss singer and multi-instrumentalist Veronika Stalder blends classical, jazz, folk, and ethnic singing to create her unique vocal style. Her passion is to connect cultures and people through music. She's the lead singer of the Armenian-Russian ethno-jazz band Authentic Light Orchestra and has won several awards, including the Russian World Music Award in 2016 and Tsovit Chov for Best Interpretation of an Armenian Folk Song in 2014. Her group Veronika's Indigo is a wonderfully sounding melting pot of singer-songwriter with Senegalese griot music. Hi, Veronika.
Hi, Sarah.
So nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's such an honor and a joy to be here amongst so many wonderful musicians and that I know and that feel like family, like sitting in a living room. Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're very honored. Veronika, I recently heard an interview with Trevor Noah where former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy discussed loneliness as a public health crisis during lockdown. He said, "One thing I found to be surprising but enormously helpful solution to loneliness is service. It turns out that when we reach out and help someone else, that not only enables us to connect with another human being, but it reminds us of our value and our purpose in life." And you've taken your diverse music on the road to several countries representing several different ethnicities. How would you equate your experience to the kind of service Dr. Murthy describes? And how might you encourage our listeners tonight to use their music as a service to others?
Oh, that's two questions.
I know, I'm sorry, it's two.
Well, for me, it's maybe the question how to cure separation. And solitude is like a consequence of separation, I guess. And to me, this cure or the solution to it is to connect, to bring together what has been separated. And in my music, I bring together, or I build bridges. I try to bring together cultures, and I try to understand cultures that I had prejudices. Oh, I don't know if I say that word right. And I try to understand and open my horizon to know more about the truth. And I traveled to Russia.
Yeah.
And this was frightening me in the first time. And I thought, the Russians, oh my God, it's dangerous there, and people, like all the stories you heard. And then I arrived there, and after like all these journeys that I made, I realized that they're like humans. They're like me, and they are wonderful people. And also the same story with Senegalese music and musicians and people. They're like Muslim people, and learning from their cultures, just with an open mind, that helped me a lot to build these bridges. Just also with myself, with my separations, like in my view how to see the world and what I have been taught.
Yeah.
So that healed a lot of it and brought together the pieces. And yeah, so
it's funny how certain things in life will help us to recognize that our thinking has been wrong, because we just trusted that what we were taught was the right thing, and then suddenly something happens. You travel to Russia, you travel to these Muslim countries, and you realize you maybe realize for the first time what it was that you thought, that you weren't so conscious of it before that.
Yes, and also to make music with people from all over the world, which I had the chance to really play with so many musicians from different cultures, and we couldn't communicate with language because we couldn't speak our languages, but we were making music, and we were connecting much on a deeper level that could bring joy and peace, and maybe connect us, made us understand each other even more profoundly than if we could talk.
Well, that's a beautiful way to put it. And I think that's already a way to encourage our listeners to use their music. Do you have anything to add to that, how people can be of service with music?
Well, you never know where your song will go. You really cannot know that. And you will never know who can listen to your song, who will listen to your song. And even if it's only one single person that has been touched deeply by your words or by your feeling that is inside your song, then it's worth it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Veronica. Veronica's music can be found. I always do that. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening, and thanks for calling in tonight. It's getting late.
Thank you for the great question.
Veronica's music can be found at veronicastalder.ch. Veronica is spelled with a K. I'm your host, Sarah Bowman, and this is Pillow Song Portraits, a Tracy Chapman tribute. Michi Rene has been a very important part of Pillow Song since our beginning, as you probably heard last week if you tuned into our open mic podcast. Michi and Rene Burrell have been co-hosting the open mic since Joelle Stone's departure last season. Here is Michi Rene and Rene Burrell with some added vocals from your overly eager host tonight, performing For My Lover from Tracy Chapman's self-titled debut album.
2 weeks in a Virginia jail for my lover, $20,000 bail for my lover. Everybody think I'm the fool. They don't get it, any love from you. Things you won't do for love. I'd climb the mountain if I had to, risk my life so I could have you. Every day I'm psychoanalyzed for my love. me up and I tell them lies. For my lover, for my lover. And everybody thinks I'm the fool. They don't get it, any love from you. Things you won't do for love. I'd climb the mountain if I had to, risk my life so I could have you. I follow my heart and leave my head to ponder. Deep in this love no man can shake. I follow my heart and leave my mind to wonder. Is this love worth the sacrifices I make? 2 weeks in a Virginia jail for my lover, for my lover. $20,000 bail for my lover, for my lover. Every day I'm psychoanalyzed for my lover, for my lover. They dope me up and I tell them lies for my lover, for my lover. And everybody thinks I'm the fool. They don't get it, any love from you. Things you won't do for love. I'd climb the mountain if I had to, risk my life so I could have you.
That was For My Lover, performed by Michi Rene and some singer in the background. Amanda Taub of the New York Times recently published an article highlighting the rise of domestic abuse worldwide. She writes, "The United Nations called for urgent action to combat the worldwide surge in domestic violence. I urge all governments to put women's safety first as they respond to the pandemic," Secretary General Antonio Guterres wrote on Twitter. But, as with the response to the virus itself, the delays mean that irreparable harm may have already occurred. Amanda addresses this deeply concerning issue. I'll be providing links in the chat to services that provide help for those in an abusive situation. Organizations like the U.S. Embassy in Switzerland Domestic Shelters and the National Domestic Violence Hotline are here to help. This next performance by Célia von Matt of Tracy Chapman's chilling a cappella song Behind the Wall tells the story of domestic violence that is all too common across the globe. You can help protect your neighbors and yourself. Please feel free to copy the links that I've provided in the live stream chat window. Here is Célia von Matt performing Behind the Wall.
Last night I heard a screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me, won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. Last night I heard a screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me, won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. And when they arrive, they say they can't interfere in domestic affairs between a man and his wife. As they walk out the door, the tears well up in her eyes. Last night I heard a screaming, then a silence that chilled my bone. Wish that I was dreaming when I heard the ambulance in the road. And the policeman said, I'm here to keep the peace. May the crowd disperse. I think we all could use some sleep. Last night I heard a screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me, won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all.
Thank you all for your care, and thank you for listening. Please help us keep programming like this free and available. Your donations are appreciated. Go to www.pillowsong.com or click the tip jar link in this live stream's details. We will be closing tonight's podcast with a crucial song, Tracy Chapman, that deals with the struggles that Black youths continually face in America. You just heard Célia von Matt performing Behind the Wall by Tracy Chapman. This is a Pillow Song Portraits, a tribute to Tracy Chapman. Concluding tonight's program are Gaslager regulars and staples of Stans, Mathias, Jurt, Alex, Carl, and Aaron Ullrich. They're performing their version of Tracy Chapman's song Across the Lines. Before sending you off, I'd like to thank all of the artists who contributed their Tracy Chapman songs to this evening's program. And I would like to thank all independent artists for doing what you do to promote positive change in the world through the power of song. Thank you for listening to this Pillow Song Portrait of Tracy Chapman. I'm your host, Sarah Bowman. Tune in every Wednesday for the Pillow Song podcast and write to us if you'd like to be a guest on our next portrait, a tribute to the Indigo Girls featuring guest artists, the Bowmans, right here on Wednesday, June 3rd. In 1 week from today, we bring you the online Stubete, a taste of Swiss folk music. Here is Tracy Chapman's song, Across the Lines.
Ja, terug maar Oké.
From blacks, choose sides, run for your life. Tonight the riots begin. Back streets of America, they killed the dream of America. Black girl gets assaulted, ain't no reason why. Newspaper prints the stories and racist tempers fly. Next day it starts a riot, knives and guns are drawn. 2 black boys get killed and 1 white boy goes blind. Across the line, who would dare to go under the bridge, over the track? Separates whites from blacks. Choose sides or run for your life. Tonight the riots begin. The back streets of America, they kill the dream of America.
black girl gets assaulted. Don't no one know her name. Lots of people hurting that way, but she's the one to blame. Run for your life.